Blog Talk Radio.
And wealthy. South Florida's Health and Wealth Radio Network. AM 1470. WWNN, Pompano Beach. Attention, the 4th annual 12-Step Music Fest is coming November 3rd through the 6th in Sugarloaf Key, Florida. 4 days of music and fun with 12 musical acts along with the Rockers in Recovery Supergroup featuring Ricky Byrd, guitarist formerly of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Liberty DeVito, formerly of Billy Joel, Woody Geisman of the Del Fuegos, Kason Sultan of Todd Rundgren and Utopia, Christine Ullman of the Saturday Night Live Band, and 4 more to be announced by September. Find out more about this sober Woodstock in Sugarloaf Key by joining rockersinrecovery.com or by calling 877-799-8773.
The First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach has been part of the 12-Step community for 14 years, and they've helped thousands of people to recover from addiction and the issues surrounding addiction. First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach is a sober living community built on the 12-step approach. Male or female, you can learn to be responsible again. Their 3 to 6 month intensive sober living house features a compassionate and structured program, and they work with attorneys and the courts. Call the First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach today, 954-942-7414. That's 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com. Remember, if the elevator to your success is broken, you must take the steps. Take the first step today by calling First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach, 954-942-7414. Or go online to First.
It's the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web. Rockers in Recovery. Music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry. All backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery. Featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com.
The First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach has been part of the 12-Step community for 14 years, and they've helped thousands of people to recover from addiction and the issues surrounding addiction. First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach is a sober living community built on the 12-step approach. Male or female, you can learn to be responsible again. Their 3 to 6 month intensive sober living house features a compassionate and structured program, and they work with attorneys and the courts. Call the First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach today, 954-942-7414. That's 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com. Remember, if the elevator to your success is broken, you must take the steps. Take the first step today by calling First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach, 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of its host, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. This is the Rockers in Recovery radio show dedicated to news, interviews, events, and festivals taking place in the rock and roll industry and in the world of bands and musicians who support recovery. Find out more by going to holisticlifestylesradio.com or join Rockers in Recovery on Facebook. Now, the host of Rockers in Recovery, here's John Hollis.
Hey, hey. Here we are live. It's another beautiful night in South Florida, and I'm back in the studio. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want to thank everybody for their emails. Over the last month and a half that I've been out of the station, up north dealing with family issues, and for the guys that are sitting over in the Broward County jail system right now that listen to this show on a regular basis and, have made it a point to, make their condolences known about my mother. I want to thank all of those guys that wrote letters. Also want to take the time to thank, of course, Dawn Wilder from the 12-Step Music Fest, Chris Behind the Glass, and many other folks like, of course, our friend Chris D. from the First Step Sober House, and Will Grayson. Of course, Will Grayson made it a part of, his Thursday night show being on air every Thursday night and covering my butt while I was out of town. And we want to talk to you about a couple of different things. The first thing is the 12-Step Music Fest. 12-Step Music Fest is coming up here rapidly. If you get a chance to go to 12stepmusicfest.com, please, of course, take a look at all of the information that's there. It's Recovery Rocks with 4 days of camping, music, meetings, speakers, fellowship, and fun, all in one place. Sugarloaf Key, that's the KOA campground. It's at mile marker 20 in the Florida Keys. And, of course, it's November 3rd through the 6th, 2011. Tickets are now on sale. You can go to 12stepmusicfest.com, or you can call 305-296-4726 and check out, of course, with Dawn availability. I think we still have some camper availability, but I'm not sure. You might want to check that out. But, of course, you can call Dawn at 305-296-4726. 12stepmusicfest.com is the place you want to go to online. Just give you a little brief overview of the 12-Step Music Fest and what's happening. We're going to have on tonight the Chillbillies, and the Chillbillies are literally going to be a part of the 12-Step Music Fest. They're going to be playing down there, but there's a bunch of bands that are going to be playing down there. We have, of course, Mike Zito, 2010 Billboard Music Awards Song of the Year winner. He's going to be down there. We got Mark Lundholm, of course, recovery comedian and comedian extraordinaire, who will be taking the main stage as the MC and also doing a recovery comedy act on Friday night. We also have other main stage acts, Blackfinger, the Bubba Mac Band, Thrown Alive, Chillbillies, Rhetoric, Dawnweiler. We got Johnny B and the Road Dogs. The Dorfels. Let me tell you about the Dorfels. The Dorfels are a band it's a family band. The range is from 12 years old to 18, and they literally play all their different instruments, and they actually circle around, and they actually play each other's instruments. It's actually pretty cool. You got to see it. I seen them down the Keys. They were off the chain. Check them out. Now, I want to talk to you about the supergroup. Rockers in Recovery is sponsoring the supergroup this year at the 12-Step Music Fest. It's the first time that it's been put together, and we are, of course, looking forward to this year's supergroup lineup. It's going to be Saturday night, the 5th of November. And it will happen at about 8 o'clock and go until about 10:30. Let me give you the supergroup lineup real quick. We got Ricky Byrd, who is the musical director of all the insanity that's going to take place. He is Ricky Byrd, formerly of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. He's been with, of course, Roger Daltrey, Ian Hunter, and Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, and Mavis Staple recently. I mean, it goes on and on and on. We have Woody Geisman of the Del Fuegos, Christine Allman of the Saturday Night Live Band, Liberty DeVito of Billy Joel, Kazim Sultan of Todd Rundgren, Jeff Kazee of Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, Chris Anderson of the Asbury Juke Horns, Neil Pauly of the Asbury Juke Horns, and Richie Supa. Of course, famed, legendary rocker Richie Supa will be down in the Keys also. You know, they got a main stage and then they got a coffee house. The coffee house is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be laid back. It's just going to be an artist and promoting their stuff. Woody Geisman, Kazim Sultan, and Richie Supa will be in the coffee house. Ricky's talking about doing some stuff there, and more will be revealed. Rockers in Recovery, of course, if you don't know who we are, and you're just tuning in on one of the streamers right now, or you're just listening to us for the first time, Rockers in Recovery is an 18-hour-a-week radio show on the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. We are dedicated to music, news, interviews, events, and festivals taking place in the world of the rock and roll industry, of course, and we welcome folks who like rocking out in recovery, along with bands and musicians who are in recovery or support recovery. Live from WNN 1470 AM radio, Beasley Broadcasting, Boca Raton, Florida. Of course, Beasley Broadcasting has 52 AM and FM radio stations nationwide, and we also have our own online radio station at rockersinrecovery.com. You can find us there. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Reverb Nation. You can find us on MySpace. You can find us everywhere. The easiest way is to go to rockersinrecovery.com, and you can get from there to everywhere. We have, of course, George coming up from the Chillbillies, and George is somebody that Massengill, George Massengill, and I need to let you know that George has been with the Chillbillies since it started out. And one of the things that George brings to this equation, and I've read through his bio, first of all, I love a guy that says, I was born in, it looks like Lafayette, Tennessee, and it also looks like May 5th, 1963, and I love what he said. It says, for those with poor math skills, that means I just turned 41. Now, when was this written? Now, was it written? Now, that could be like 45 now, right? Let's get George on the phone. We need to clarify this. Do you up?
Yeah, it's like 48.
It's like 48 now?
I'm 48 now, but I still like to keep that on there just to throw everybody off. And we don't. That's the one thing we never update on the website. Anything in our bios that relate to age or historical data, we don't change that very often.
I don't blame you. I mean, listen, my bio on my website says I'm 28, and they used my graduation picture.
Yeah, there you go.
So that way, when people actually meet me, George, they say, "Where did that fat bald man come from?"
I hear you.
So the Chillbillies. Let's get a little history here. Where did the Chillbillies come from? How did it all come together? Because it looks like you guys all came out of bands in the 80s and the 70s, and you've been playing music your whole life. How did it all come about?
Well, that's an accurate statement. We actually, Don Taylor, the saxophone player, and I probably have had the longest history together. Don and I started playing together in about 1983 or 4, I think, 3 or 4, maybe 5, and we had a band that Don moved into the town I lived in. It's in Jamestown, Tennessee. And we had a band that had a record deal. It wasn't anything major, but we had some songs that were coming out. And Don had been involved with the Skinner band and some other people. And Don moved into town, so we put a band together, put Don in it, and I ended up had the Artemis Pyle from Leonard Skinner in the band, and a couple of other guys in it, and so Don and I had that band, I guess, for 7, 8, 9 years, and then went through some other different happenings in my life, and ended up, we put a gospel group together, actually, and Lowell Molan, who now plays guitar with us, was part of the gospel group. Mm-hmm. And so we had me and Don and Lowell, and then we added some other folks kind of started coming into the picture. Larry Patton. Larry was with the Flying Burrito Brothers after the Graham Parsons stuff, and with John Beelan through the Birds. And so Larry joined the band, and then we just rotated some people in and out. So I guess more, the best description is it's kind of been this melting pot of old musicians who have just ended up in the Upper Cumberland area of Tennessee, some around Nashville playing country music and so forth, and then we just kind of all put the thing together and loved the name the Chillbillies. Somebody came up with that, I guess, because of the way we look. But so that's pretty much the history of it.
And it's amazing that you brought up the history of your area, because, again, remember, Nashville has been cutting out some hellacious music for, almost, a century now, So when you look at the music that has been in your area of Tennessee, I was just watching a thing on the Rolling Stones recently, and they actually did Sticky Fingers there in, I think it was in Nashville, that they did it in a small recording studio down there, which is amazing that you think of the history. So you get to be able to pull from all of this history, but most importantly, you got some of the best musicians in the world right there in your own backyard.
That's real true. I mean, we have been. I think that's the thing we've been blessed that. Every night you play somewhere in the Upper Cumberland area or East Tennessee area, and you have these guys walk in off the street that are red Volcarts that made all the stuff happen from Earl Haggard, and you get all these guys that pass through, Sneaky Pete Wilson, and so you get this. It usually always happens that you have a jam session instead of a real just the band. You end up with 10 people playing over the course of a night, but the history of that and what that adds to a band, and we've been really, really blessed and really lucky to be able to do that. And when we cut our first CD, we had several of those people that just kind of showed up and played on our CD, and just for the heck of it, just to have something to do. So, but yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's funny when you think about cutting a CD. I mean, how many years did we say they're going to cut an album? A new album's going to be out. I'm still stumbling over CD. I'm still saying everybody's going to cut a CD. I'm not saying that anymore. I still say they're cutting an album. And then people have to tell me, George, no, John, you're a dinosaur. It's a CD, Jack. So when you go into the studio and you start working and you sit down with your crew, now this is a crew that I seen last year and the year before at the 12-Step Music Fest, which you guys just totally dominated last year, which was incredible. And you also backed up Chuck Negron last year, is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, which was an amazing thing, and I'm sure dealing with Chuck was amazing too, because I had him on and interviewed him. But when you sit down and you work with these guys, is there ever any tension? Is there resentments that fly around? How do you deal with those things when you're in the band setting, and most importantly, being in recovery?
There's really not, and I think again we're blessed that I don't want to say we never have any tension, but I mean overall I think maybe because we're old, and I think that we do everything really ad lib. I mean, when we cut stuff in the studio, I might have an idea. I'll probably write 80% of what we do, but I'll have an idea, and it'll just be a rough idea that generally probably 70% of the stuff we cut, we have never went over it anywhere. We've never played it out anywhere. And we'll go in just real fresh. And I think that probably creates an atmosphere that the guys don't have a lot of pressure, including me, and we have fun with it. I think if there was a lot of pressure to do things exactly right, you might have more tension. So, I think we used to, we had this thing in the Chillbillies that, we never practice, and there's $100 fine if you're caught even rehearsing. We never practice as a band. There's $100 fine if you're caught rehearsing anything by yourself that we're going to play. So keep it pretty loose.
Yeah, and really you tend to let it happen as it happens at that point.
We do, and I think that's a good thing. And I can't say enough about Larry Patton that's with us now, and you kind of go to LarryPatton.com and you go through and look. Larry played with Willie Nelson. Larry played with Hank Jr. for a number of years. He played with everybody. He played, like I said, with the Flying Burrito Brothers, and you got some guys like that in the band, and Lou Molan, who was Lori Morgan's guitar guy and the band leader, and Don Taylor, from Skinner, Skinner's project. It makes it. Everybody's kind of got their own creativity, and there's not a lot of tension really. It just kind of comes together, and I think not just in the studio, but when we play live, and that 12-Step Music Festival is just a wonderful thing we get to do, and we just have fun. I mean, you can kind of sense it, but we just have a good time playing music. Basically,
you're looking at, if you're listening right now, I'm going to give you a overshot of this. You're talking R&B with, of course, as you would say, a splash of classic rock and roll. Is that how you would sum up the Chillbillies? I think so. I think if you mix together the Allman Brothers, Matchbox 20, the Grateful Dead, maybe the Florida Boys Southern Gospel Group. We got a full range going on here, brother. We got something for everybody.
Yeah. I think you jumble it all together, and that's kind of what we are. Yeah, it's R&B. Mm-hmm. It's full contact rhythm and blues is what I like to call it.
Beautiful. Let me go to a few other things. That first of all, you did the 12-Step Music Fest. This is not your first rodeo this year. You've been at the 12-Step Music Fest for how long now? How long have you been?
This will be our third year.
Okay. And being part of the 12-Step Music Fest, how has that been for you, saying, over the last couple of years and watching it grow and seeing that whole process take place?
It's been really, really awesome. Dawn and all those folks down there just do an outstanding job. We get to play quite a few things like that, and I have to say that is a very well organized event, and from the top to the bottom, and one of the biggest things is I remember the first year when we showed up, we were just they were so nice to us. I mean, whatever you need, just really, 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 and then the quality on top of that. So it's been interesting to watch. There's great talent there. Everybody is fantastic that plays the event. The sound system's great. Every musician that I know worries when you walk into some place, especially an outdoor event, what you're going to get into in terms of sound. And I'll tell you, both years have been absolutely fantastic. Last year, Friday night, we had a blast and did our show. And then Saturday night, we were a little nervous. The backup band for Chuck is a little intense to try to pull off as a band. And so, we thought, well, I sure hope the sound is good and we can hear and the monitors. It's fantastic. So, I hope that it just keeps growing because it's a fantastic event and it helps a lot of people. To be able to go to something that is family friendly and non-alcoholic or drugged and you listen to great music 2 or 3 days. It's a special event.
When you're talking about the lineup, you guys are, like I said, I've watched you for 2 years, and I see how much you put into your shows, and you're just unbelievable band. So you also have, along with this mix now, folks, you got Mike Zito. Mike Zito is a great blues guitarist. If you've never seen Mike Zito, just go to YouTube and check out Mike Zito on YouTube. Unbelievable stuff. Of course, the Chillbillies, you have, of course, the supergroup, the Rockers in Recovery supergroup is going to be down there this year. You have all of this tied together with Mark Lundholm. Now, I got to ask you a question. George, did you happen to catch Mark's show last year?
I did. He's fantastic.
Is he hilarious or what?
He is absolutely great, and I was at another convention, which I better not say exactly where, but another convention and got to sit by him at this convention and then watch him. I mean, he's class act. I mean, he is a A-team performer. He's as good as anybody on HBO or anything.
You know something? We're going to have to take a break, but I want you to hang tight, okay? And when we go out, we're going to play the Farmer's Rap. That's what we're going to play right now. And then we're going to go to a commercial break and come on back and talk more, of course, with George Massengill, and he is with the Chillbillies. We'll be back right after this message and this, of course, Farmer's Rap.
I'm a homegrown boy from Tennessee. I know a farmer's life from A to Z. Make my living from the mud to earth. The ground I stand is sweat and dirt. I'll never starve my family, I'll feed. It all starts out with a tiny seed. I milk my cow, give the egg. A farmer's life is here to stay. Digging taters, kicking maters, cutting backers, a corn shucker, digging taters, picking Granger County maters, cutting backers, corn shuckers. I got an old hound dog named G.I. Joe and an old gray mare, she's 20 years old. My pride and joy is a summer day on a John Deere tractor baling hay. I guess you can say I like simple things like the sun, the rain, what the good Lord brings. Bury me in the South, cause this is what living is all about. Digging taters, digging mate.
Are you ready to explode your business? Then you are ready to take advantage of the massive marketing power of the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Advertise your business, product, or service with one of the most powerful multimedia platforms on the planet. With more than 300,000 online listeners, 30 social media outlets, and a booming 15 hours of live programming on South Florida's 50,000-watt mega giant, AM 1470 WNN. Your business will be exposed to hundreds of thousands of active, progressive consumers hungry for your products and services. You'll be featured on blogs, live streams, social media, at live events, and on hundreds of archived podcasts, including Rockers in Recovery, the East Coast music scene, Defending Your Money, and dozens more. Plus, prime-time national exposure during major festivals from Las Vegas to Boston and the Florida Keys. Get ready to take your business to the next level and jumpstart your branding strategy. Advertise your events, products, and services on the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Call now for special discounted packages. 877-799-8773. That's 877-799-8773. Or visit HolisticLifestylesRadio.com. It's the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web, Rockers in Recovery. Music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry, all backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery, featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com.
The First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach has been part of the 12-step community for 14 years, and they've helped thousands of people to recover from addiction and the issues surrounding addiction. First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach is a sober living community built on the 12-step approach. Male or female, you can learn to be responsible again. Their 3 to 6 month intensive sober living house features a compassionate and structured program, and they work with attorneys and the courts. Call the First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach today, 954-942-7414. That's 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com. Remember, if the elevator to your success is broken, you must take the steps. Take the first step today by calling First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach, 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com.
You are listening to the Rockers in Recovery Radio Show. To learn more about the broadcast, go to HolisticLifestylesRadio.com or join Rockers in Recovery on Facebook. Now back to today's show. Once again, your host, John Hull.
Hey, welcome back. Rockers in Recovery, and of course, RockersInRecovery.com is the place you want to find out about us. And you can also check us out on Facebook and all of the other social networks that are out there. Easiest way to find us, baby, is just throw us in a search engine. Rockers in Recovery, we come up everywhere. Also, you can check out the 12-Step Music Fest by doing the same. Just search engine 12-Step Music Fest. It's right there at the top of the list. And most importantly, do more than that. Click on it, go on, and register. Buy those tickets. 305-296-4726, 12stepmusicfest.com. And, of course, we have our friend from the Chillbillies, George Massengill. And, George, thank you for being a guest tonight with us.
You're very welcome.
You know something? We have fun whenever we have guests on. So I want to ask you, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while you're out on the road?
Well, I'm trying to think. Probably we played a pool party somewhere in Florida, and we got ready to go and got everybody set up. Somebody knocked our lights in the pool.
And how many people were in the pool when that happened?
That was a good thing. Nobody's in the pool. I don't know. I'd have to think about some really funny stories. I'm sure we could. Time I could come up with them.
So George, I love your sense of humor already. You would find the lights falling in the pool humorous? That's beautiful. Now, I got a few people. I mean, I did formally do a 4-step. So there was a few people on that list that I haven't got over resentments with that I wouldn't mind being in that pool, George.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you.
I'm still praying for those folks, George.
I hear you.
So what brought you to the 12-Step Music Fest? I mean, you eloquently told us the history of you and the band. And what personally gravitated you to want the band to be at the 12-Step Music Fest? What was it personally, in it for you to be there? Was it more to just carry the message of hope, or what was it for you?
Well, yeah, I think where I saw that information about the 12-Step Music Fest was on maybe In the Rooms, something in .com, I believe, and I saw something about it, and I just thought it was really, a lot of people, we play a lot of recovery kind of stuff, but seeing that this was a festival and something at that level, I just thought, yeah, we really want to do that, and yeah, it's part of carrying the message and being a part of something positive. I mean, we're pretty blessed. I think every musician is extremely blessed to get to do something really, really unique, and that is, create something out of thin air, basically, and it makes people feel something, and so I think, we've all done our time in clubs and bars and so forth and so on, and so I think something like this 12-Step Music Fest, I just saw it, that we got to do it. I mean, we got to be a part of that, and boy, was I right, that it was a good thing once we met everybody involved in it. So.
Well, I'm really glad that you're going to be down there this year. We're looking forward to doing a bunch of interviews. We're going to be streaming the whole thing live. Rockers in Recovery is coming down with a full streaming crew, just like we did at our 2 concerts, one in May and the one in February. We're going to have 3 cameras down there streaming live, high definition, back to, of course, about 20 different websites. And we're looking forward to, of course, getting you guys on and interviewing you while you are ready to take the stage, or maybe right after you get off the stage, and we can talk about your experiences, and we can talk about the fest, and most importantly, we can talk about recovery. Because and I know, George, that when you put all the joking aside, and of course we laugh a lot, we're not a glum lot, we like to carry a message that says to everybody that, hey, listen, you have a choice today. When you start to look at the musicians that, like yourself, or folks like me, or folks like, Dawn Wilder and the rest of the folks that we're all affiliated together with, we all carry a message in our own unique way. But when we get together like that, we carry it together, what we're truly saying to people is, hey, listen, you can be a different person, and you don't have to remain the same. If you're in a bad place today, or you're, sitting on the rack because you smoke too much crack, over at the county jail, I've been there, I know that. You don't have to go there anymore. George, if you had to say something to a newcomer tonight, what would that be?
Just don't ever give up hope, man. Don't ever stop trying, and there is a different way to live. I think that you said it really, really well, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that there is a different way to live out there. There's a new way to live, and it's free, and it's freedom. And, a newcomer, I've been that newcomer, and to not have the hope and to wonder if there's any way to make it, and, there is. I've been around here a while, and a lot of us have, and just don't give up. And I used to have a sponsor. He died. The sponsor I had for a number of years died 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he used to say all the time, he would say, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens.
I want to, of course, extend to you, I know that you have a lot of gigs coming up. And unfortunately, the person that printed up your bio for me printed up in about 5 scale all the places that you're going to be. So I actually would need somebody's handing me their reading glasses right now. But give us some of the places you're going to be at.
Oh, we're at clubs all around East Tennessee in the next little bit with Irish Times and I don't think many people will be up this way, but we've got a couple of outdoor events that we're playing around the Upper Cumberland area, some recovery stuff. Hey, really, Chillbillies.net is the easiest to find. I hate to say it, half the time I don't know exactly where we're going to be after other than 2 or 3 weeks later. So, but we've got a couple of fairs coming up and some things like that. I don't know anything we're doing in the Florida area until the Key West show. So, but Chillbillies.net, and it's got a pretty good layout of where all we're going to be. And you can always email me. I'm on there, and I'll be glad to email you back and let you know where we're going to be and give you an invite, directions how to get there. How about that?
Sounds great. Matter of fact, we can post that stuff on the website, let people know what you're doing. At the same time, I also want to, of course, direct you to chillbillies.net to find out the information. And, of course, you can also click and you can talk with George right from there. And, George, in closing, is there anything that you would like to just let the listeners know about, your band, yourself, or anything that's recovery related?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, I really appreciate what you're doing. And I know that, your station and all the hard work that you guys are doing is really, really important to have this link into recovery and to have, to bring people together. So I want to, say that first because I know that that's not something that you just, automatically get up 5 minutes before time to put all this together and then just run in and it all works. So thank you for your time and what you do. I'm a really blessed guy. My son's standing here beside me. He's 12 years old and he's a drummer now, and he gets to be around a dad that doesn't use and has never seen me use. I've been here longer than that, and so I guess that's the biggest thing is that God's given me a gift of recovery, number one, and number two, I get to play music, and it's wonderful. And I think number three is, I've been really blessed to be around musicians that are fantastic all my life, and that I have learned from, and so I'm a really blessed guy, and thank you so much for having me on, and I really look forward to seeing you in the Keys, and we'll have a great time together.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the same thing, and most importantly, you be safe and let the band know that we're loving on the Chillbillies down here, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys. And if you have any questions for George or any of the band, you can go to chillbillies.net. And George, thank you so much for being a part of our show tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, man. All right, guys, we're going to go out to a break, and when we come back, we are going to have a little bit of a conversation, a little roundtable discussion with, of course, Laura Batts from Hyperbarics RX, who is going to, of course, be with us for an extended period tonight. We're looking forward to Laura being here. We also have some other folks in the studio tonight that we're going to be speaking with, and we're going to have a good time. And we want to thank, of course, George Massengill from the Chillbillies. He is, of course, a founder of the Chillbillies, and we want to thank him for being on. And we're going to go out to a break, and we're going to play Hey Good Looking from the Chillbillies.
All right, take 3. Hey Good Looking.
the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web, Rockers in Recovery. Music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry, all backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery, featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com. Are you ready to explode your business? Then you are ready to take advantage of the massive marketing power of the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Advertise your business, product, or service with one of the most powerful multimedia platforms on the planet. With more than 300,000 online listeners, 30 social media outlets, and a booming 15 hours of live programming on South Florida's 50,000-watt mega giant, AM 1470 WNN. Your business will be exposed to hundreds of thousands of active, progressive consumers hungry for your products and services. You'll be featured on blogs, live streams, social media, at live events, and on hundreds of archived podcasts, including Rockers in Recovery, the East Coast music scene, Defending Your Money, and dozens more. Plus, prime-time national exposure during major festivals from Las Vegas to Boston and the Florida Keys. Get ready to take your business to the next level and jumpstart your branding strategy. Advertise your events, products, and services on the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Call now for special discounted packages. 877-799-8773. That's 877-799-8773. Or visit holisticlifestylesradio.com.
No Matter What Productions proudly present the 4th annual 12-Step Music Fest. Recovery rocks with 4 days of camping, music, meetings, speakers, fellowship, and fun all in one place. That's Sugarloaf KOA Campground, mile marker 20 in the Florida Keys. November 3rd through the 6th, 2011, of course. Tickets on sale now, 305-296-4726. We have a super group for you, too, all on one stage Saturday night. Ricky Byrd of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Woody Eastman of the Del Fuegos, Christine Ullman of Saturday Night Live, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, Casman Sultan of Todd Rundgren's group, Jeff Casey of Southside Johnny, Chris Anderson of Asbury Jukes Horns, Will Pauly of Asbury Jukes Horns. More names to come. And Mike Zito, 2010 Billboard Music Awards Song of the Year, and Mark Ledlin, main stage MC Friday night, a recovery comedy act. Be there.
Hi, this is Laura Betts with Hyperbaric RX, and you can visit us online at hyperbaricsrx.com. We offer everything hyperbaric, so whether it's a custom oxygen system, an oxygen concentrator, a portable hyperbaric chamber, a custom clinic system for a doctor's office or a hospital. If it's hyperbaric, we can provide the consulting, the equipment, the training, the certification, everything that you need to go along with it. You should definitely check out our website again, and that's www.hyperbaricsrx.com, and you can contact us at 877-589-9998. Again, that toll-free number is 877-589-9998, and look forward to answering your questions and helping you with your hyperbaric equipment, systems, training, and treatment needs. Thank you.
The First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach has been part of the 12-Step community for 14 years, and they've helped thousands of people to recover from addiction and the issues surrounding addiction. First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach is a sober living community built on the 12-step approach. Male or female, you can learn to be responsible again. Their 3 to 6 month intensive sober living house features a compassionate and structured program, and they work with attorneys and the courts. Call the First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach today, 954-942-7414. That's 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com. Remember, if the elevator to your success is broken, you must take the steps. Take the first step today by calling First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach, 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com.
It's the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web, Rockers in Recovery. music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry, all backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery, featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com.
The First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach has been part of the 12-step community for 14 years, and they've helped thousands of people to recover from addiction and the issues surrounding addiction. First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach is a sober living community built on the 12-step approach. Male or female, you can learn to be responsible again. Their 3 to 6 month intensive sober living house features a compassionate and structured program, and they work with attorneys and the courts. Call the First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach today, 954-942-7414. That's 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com. Remember, if the elevator to your success is broken, you must take the steps. Take the first step today by calling First Step Sober House of Pompano Beach, 954-942-7414. Or go online to firststepsoberhouse.com.
You are listening to the Rockers in Recovery Radio Show. To learn more about the broadcast, go to holisticlifestylesradio.com or join Rockers in Recovery on Facebook. Now back to today's show. Once again, your host, John Holland.
All right, welcome back. Of course, we're hanging out here at WNN 1470 AM, rockersinrecovery.com. You can find us at. You can also find us at holisticlifestylesradio.com. These are all the .com sites that you can find us at. And we're glad to be here. We're glad to be online. And we're glad to be hanging out. You know, it's an amazing situation over the last probably month and a half. I've been everywhere. I feel like I've been, well, I started out in Boston. Then I came back from Boston. I was home, I don't know, about 4 days. Then I got the phone call from New York that my mom had gone into the hospital. And I ran to New York. And I was actually in New York for her passing, and then cleaning up all of the things that, of course, happen when you're dealing with, family affairs and death. Because I got to tell you, the insanity level that was raging, I am so glad that I'm in recovery today, because, you know, there are certain times where I know I need to keep my mouth shut. I got to tell you, folks, I didn't do that perfectly, because there was a few times I didn't. But most importantly, overall, I was able to understand that, you know, it's a change for everybody. At one point in my life, it would have been just about, okay, what I'm going through. I was able to look at the picture as a whole and see what everybody was going through. And I think that that's the change that we talk about, you know, in the rooms. I want to talk to you about something serious tonight that I think that everybody should think about. You know, of course, health is very important, especially when you come into the rooms. You walk through the door, I don't know about you, but I was about 180 pounds, soaking wet. I didn't look good. I didn't feel good. Nothing was good. And, you know, you start having to go to doctors and get blood work and start finding out, you know, if there's anything wrong. You know, do I have Hep C? Do I have HIV? These are really important things, folks, because guess what? If you've been out in the streets for any length of time, you have been exposed to those types of things. And that's why it's important to be able to go through the process, go see your doctor, get checked out, and just put your mind at rest. So that way you're not looking over your shoulder or feeling like, you know, well, you know, I slept with so-and-so and I knew they had this or they had that. I mean, that stuff happens, man. And the most important part is that when you get sober, part of being sober is to be able to put your mind at rest for some of these things. One of them is diabetes, because understand when an alcoholic comes in and you're 40 years old or 45 years old and you've been drinking for 30 years or 25 years, you have done some damage, and 9 times out of 10, the first sign of that is diabetes. Now, diabetes, you know, there's different stages of diabetes. There's diabetes, the first stage diabetes, and then you have chronic diabetes. And chronic diabetes, of course, means that you're going to start experiencing and dealing with, you know, eventually your liver are your kidneys going on you? Not your liver, your kidneys going on you, and going in through dialysis and all of that stuff, and kidney transplants and all of that stuff that goes with diabetes. So one of the things that is not recognized enough, in my belief, is that I know several people in the rooms that have lost limbs, literally have lost limbs because of their diabetes. Now, understand there are certain times where that's going to be needed, okay? But I don't think that that's something that's, should be looked at as like a first line of defense, okay? First line of defense, let's just take your leg off. I don't think that, we should be looking at that. What are some of the alternatives to that? We're going to talk to, of course, Laura Betts from Hyperbaric's RX tonight, because part of hyperbaric oxygen therapy is to utilize that particular modality for people that are suffering from chronic stages of diabetes and getting ready to have, that have wounds, and the wounds can't be effectively treated anymore, and they're down to last stages and losing their limb. Well, let's look at this a little bit different. Let's look at it like, how about if we decided to, I just found out that I came into the rooms and I found out that I had diabetes. Well, if I started to take an aggressive approach with my health, if I started to do oxygen therapy now, would it help me later on down the road if I was to run into these issues? Laura Betts.
Not only would it help, it would probably prevent many of those issues from manifesting. With diabetes, you're dealing with diabetic neuropathy. It is essentially destroying your body from the inside out. And for someone with diabetic, just to understand what's going on here, there's a diabetic neuropathy which is associated with disease. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is not a cure, but it is used for this. And hyperbaric oxygen therapy in the United States is used to treat diabetic wounds more than anything else. So we're not talking about fringe. We're not talking about off-label. This is what it is being used for the most out of everything. So why does this happen? So the diabetic neuropathy, essentially you have circulatory issues. The body needs oxygen to heal. You're compromised because of the diabetes. You get a little cut on your toe, and it turns into a sore, and that sore progresses and continues to progress. And if the sore is unable to heal and it becomes a wound, then eventually they start to perform amputations. And the problem with amputations is from the time they start cutting, the mortality rate is 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
So we have a lot of incentive to take care of ourselves. Now, if you were to use hyperbaric oxygen therapy prophylactically as a wellness therapy, and you're essentially giving your body the oxygen, you're compensating for the damage that the diabetes is doing. So we know that it works. We know that it heals wounds when they progress to this severe stage. Of course it would help before it got there. The problem is access and therapy. And the other issue, and I wanted to mention this, there are a lot of doctors that don't know about hyperbarics and don't use hyperbarics, and frankly, there are a lot of doctors that like to cut. One of the physicians that I was just working with, Dr. Rosanna Rodriguez of Community Podiatry and Wound Care, she is a dedicated medical professional who understands that when she starts to cut, she is limiting their mortality and does everything she can possible. And she's up in St. Augustine. She does everything she can. She uses hyperbarics to save limbs because she knows it's saving lives.
Exactly, and in the long run, you're really saving a life.
Yes, the quality of life, the extension of it. So, this is a neat thing. And, in understanding in the medical billing world, insurance companies will only consider paying for coverage when the wound reaches a Wagner grade 3. There's only 5s on this scale, so you figure out where you are. It only goes to 5, and all other things must have failed. So it's really a horrible thing. The industry needs to catch up with the accessibility. But the accessibility is out there for people that are taking an active role in their health and wellness and choose to look at it. So it is possible to get these therapies, and it's not going to be covered by insurance before you progress to this severity, but the alternative, you get to keep your, it has the potential to really help.
Well, I think you bring up a valid point, because if you think about it, I mean, let's think if you get to that stage, you get to stage 3 or worse.
Yeah.
At the same time that you're doing this as a modality towards wellness, what you're also doing is you're also cutting down on the chances, because listen, folks, and I know that insurances run out. I know people that have had major situations occur in their lives, and the next thing you know, their insurance company is calling them and saying, hey, listen, guess what, folks? You no longer have availability this year. You might be able to start working on some more money next year, but we still want our payment, and we're not paying for nothing.
Right. And that's there's a real issue with this, because hyperbarics has such potential because of the fact that up until recently, the average price of a hyperbaric treatment in a hospital was $1,500 a session. It was completely unavailable to anybody. Now, for example, this particular clinic in St. Augustine, they have different systems there. They can offer hyperbaric very cost effectively. So even if somebody didn't have insurance, they could go do therapy for something that is reasonable, something that you could actually get this. And in the case of a wound, the hyperbarics, it heals the wound. And every time I spend time in her office, I see some of the people that come in. I mean, she's so great. I mean, she knows everybody's name. She hugs them. It's a big family.
You don't see that.
No, you don't. And the point, with this is these people are going every day. For a physician to offer this, they have to care. They're seeing their client every day, 5 days a week, doing this therapy, changing the wound. Once it's reached that point, it's a big deal.
I am so at awe, when I'm around you, because again, you bring the equation of what hyperbaric oxygen therapy will do for you, but most importantly, you do it with a grace, because you've been out there, you've been dealing with this for 25 plus years, and the bottom line is that it's your love and it's your passion, and you put a lot of work into the knowledge of it and understanding and helping people to come to grips with different modalities that they might need it for. I want to talk about some things after we come back from the break. Of course, Laura Betts is with Hyperbaric RX.
Yep.
And you can go to hyperbaricrx.com.
Yep.
And you can also call her at
877-589-9998.
One more time.
877-589-9998. It's toll free, and I'm always happy to answer questions.
Beautiful thing. We're going to go out to a break, and of course, it's the top of the hour break. We're going to come back for hour 2 right here at rockersinrecovery.com. We'll have Laura on and have some other folks on. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some fun. We'll be back right after this message.
Good looking.
Here's hoping you're healthy and wealthy. South Florida's Health and Wealth Radio Network. AM 1470, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Angel Side by Side. Angel Side by Side can be heard Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on WNN Radio, 1470 AM, and worldwide at rockersinrecovery.com, as well as Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to explode your business? Then you are ready to take advantage of the massive marketing power of the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Advertise your business, product, or service with one of the most powerful multimedia platforms on the planet. With more than 300,000 online listeners, 30 social media outlets, and a booming 15 hours of live programming on South Florida's 50,000-watt mega giant, AM 1470 WNN. Your business will be exposed to hundreds of thousands of active, progressive consumers hungry for your products and services. You'll be featured on blogs, live streams, social media, at live events, and on hundreds of archived podcasts, including Rockers in Recovery, the East Coast music scene, Defending Your Money, and dozens more. Plus, prime-time national exposure during major festivals from Las Vegas to Boston and the Florida Keys. Get ready to take your business to the next level and jumpstart your branding strategy. Advertise your events, products, and services on the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Call now for special discounted packages, 877-799-8773. That's 877-799-8773. Or visit HolisticLifestylesRadio.com. It's the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web, Rockers in Recovery. Music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry, all backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery, featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com.
Hi, this is Laura Beth with Hyperbaric RX, and you can visit us online at hyperbaricsrx.com. We offer everything hyperbaric, so whether it's a custom oxygen system, an oxygen concentrator, a portable hyperbaric chamber, a custom clinic system for a doctor's office or a hospital. If it's hyperbaric, we can provide the consulting, the equipment, the training, the certification, everything that you need to go along with it. You should definitely check out our website again, and that's www.hyperbaricsrx.com, and you can contact us at 877-589-9998. Again, that toll-free number is 877-589-9998, and look forward to answering your questions and helping you with your hyperbaric equipment, systems, training, and treatment needs. Thank you.
No Matter What Productions proudly present the 4th annual 12-Step Music Fest. Recovery rocks with 4 days of camping, music, meetings, speakers, fellowship, and fun all in one place. That's Sugarloaf KOA Campground, mile marker 20 in the Florida Keys. November 3rd through the 6th, 2011, of course. Tickets on sale now, 305-296-4726. We have a super group for you, too, all on one stage Saturday night. Ricky Byrd of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Woody Eastman of the Del Fuegos, Christine Ullman of Saturday Night Live, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, Casman Sultan of Todd Rundgren's group, Jeff Casey of Southside Johnny, Chris Anderson of Asbury Jukes Horns, Neil Pauly of Asbury Jukes Horns. More names to come. And Mike Zito, 2010 Billboard Music Awards Song of the Year, and Mark Levlin, main stage MC Friday night on Recovery Comedy Act. Be there.
Then he took a little drink, and I heard him say, long way. No one than you. Woodstock than you.
All right. Now, if you don't know who that is, I'll tell you who it is. It's Robbie Robinson. And Robbie Robinson, of course, came out with a new CD. And if you get a chance, Chris, what's the name of that CD? Come on up here. Tell us what the name of that CD is. Go ahead.
Learning how to be clairvoyant.
There you go. Oh, sure. You almost hit Laura Betts in the head with that.
That's all right. I got a chamber. I'm okay. Get away.
Good stuff. Well, listen, if you get a chance, go to RobbieRobinson.com and check it out, because I'll tell you what, I listened to the whole CD about 20 times. We picked it up in Woodstock. In my travels, I stopped in Woodstock, New York. And, of course, being the old hippie that Danny back here used to be, I really enjoyed going to Woodstock. And we had a blast, and I picked that CD up. And, of course, those who know, the bands that Robbie Robinson used to belong to, named The Band, came from Woodstock. And it was a great time had by all up there hanging out, and grab the CD. Check it out. I would refer it to anybody. We have Sandra from Sandra's Walk for Recovery on the line with us right now, and she's somewhere in the Carolinas. Let's find out. Sandra, where you at? Tell us where you're at.
Hey, I'm leaving Charleston tomorrow when my son gets up here, headed into Georgetown, and then on to Myrtle Beach, and then up into Wilmington, North Carolina.
For those of you who don't know, let's talk about Sandra's Walk for Recovery. Tell us a little bit about it. Tell us how it all happened and how long you've been walking, and tell us the deal.
All right. Well, last year I was watching another one of our fellowship members doing a 1,300-mile walk from Minnesota to D.C. for Recovery Month, and I was kind of sitting in the offices over there in their rooms. And I leaned back in my chair and I looked at the guys and I said, I could do that, something like this. I always wanted to do something like this. And they said, well, you could do it. And I'm like, you really think so? And they're like, yeah. And I said, well, you know what, maybe I'll try. And I started researching and trying to put some stuff together, and with the help of a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people have their fingers in this, in their hand in this walk, and I'm so grateful to them. I started walking June 11th on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and it's been amazing. It's just been an amazing journey. I have met hundreds of people. I've visited over a dozen different fellowship clubhouses, been to over 50 meetings, and it's incredible. It just really is.
Did you, as you're going through this process, have you been able to have people help you out along the way, or have you been doing it through donations? How are you doing that?
Well, we've been basically ending up, it turns out we're sort of walking for an orphan disease. Sometimes that's really what it feels like. The stigma surrounding addiction and recovery from addiction is really thick. It's been very hard to get people to touch the walk because of the fact of, nobody really knew who Sandra Huffman was, or, what my ideals were, or, what Sandra's Walk was about. So, we raised a few dollars to get us started, and then once we got out here, it just really became basically walking and talking and fundraising at the same time. And, it's gone okay. I can say, we've managed to eat. We've had some success with getting hotels to comp a few rooms here and there. The media has been, a little touchy. The first time the media has actually come out to speak with me was today. As a matter of fact, Channel 2, the NBC affiliate here in Charleston, did a short piece for us today on their 6 p.m. And I just put the links up on all the websites for that. And but I think as we're getting up north, in the Northeast, like Philadelphia, Virginia, even as close as Wilmington, North Carolina, they're starting to it's starting to catch on. They're getting a little excited because of the success that we managed to pull off, really out of thin air as we go.
Well, I think there's something to be said about the Northeast anyway, because I was just spending a month and a half in the Northeast. And the people of the Northeast are so much more open-minded to out-of-the-box things because they think it's cool for out-of-the-box things. Where in South Florida and the South Florida area and the Florida area, they tend to be more cut and dry and rigid on where they want to be. And of course, but of course that's my theory on South Florida. I'm a Northeastern boy, but of course I've been here 17 years, Sandra. So I won't get into what I really think of South Florida because they might have some issues with that around here. So, but we won't talk about that tonight.
I know the feeling. I got you there. It's changing slowly, but things in the South have always changed very slowly. It really takes a war.
Listen, mañana. You know mañana? That's what I've heard every day since I've been here. Hey, when are you going to do that, mañana? And then the next day, what do you hear? Mañana? Mañana.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen.
Laura, I said hi, too, by the way. I'm still wearing her little rubber bracelet.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Since we get that festival in Margate.
You have a little rubber bracelet on that says Hyperbarics RX, is that correct?
Yes, I do. It's the green and yellow one. It's really, I've been rocking it ever since the day we had that festival together in Margate.
Wow, thank you so much.
And is that a gel bracelet? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I like that. If you go to Laura's website, you can find that, and of course hyperbaricsrx.com. But I also want to talk about Sandra's walkforrecovery.org. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
People can go there and donate?
Absolutely, yes, they can. We are sponsored by the Unit Rooms Foundation, so your donations are 100% tax deductible and they're safe. You can click on the donate button, and at this point, really, no amount is insulting. It's really not. It's just the fact of we really want to get to where we're going up in Wilmington, New England. Oh my gosh. North Carolina, Friday night, the recovery community there is going to be holding a candlelight vigil. And then we have some other really exciting things going on when we get to Virginia. There's a couple of events. The McShin Foundation is putting on an event, and they invited us to participate. And then up in Philly, which is on DC, on the 8th, I've been invited to speak at the National Press Conference that's going to kick off Recovery Month. And then from there, we plan to go up into the Philly area, and then there's the Phillies game versus the Nationals on September 20th is Recovery Night. We have the Pro Walk has 500 seats reserved. There will be no alcohol served within those 500 seats at the Phillies Nationals game on September 20th. And I've gotten to meet some really cool people and have some awesome experiences. But I'm going to tell you, I ran away from Philadelphia 30 years ago, and to be returning on September 20th, intact, in recovery, and just having the honor of even being asked to throw a first pitch at the Phillies game just really is the promises. That is the promises. I mean, we will be amazed before we are halfway through, right?
Absolutely. Sandra's.org, right? Sandra'sWalkForRecovery.org.
Yes, it is. Sandra'sWalk.org. And I've been trying to do as much Wi-Fi as we have, been able to get a hold of. I've been posting updates and pictures and just really trying to stay connected with everybody while we're out here,
Well, here's the deal, folks. Check her out on the website. You can donate, and most importantly, if you're listening on one of the streamers up the East Coast, she's on her way through your area. You can always find out an update on Facebook or find out an update on her website exactly where she's going to be and go out and meet her. And you can bring her a sandwich. A sandwich.
Oh, yes.
You like a sandwich?
That's great. I love peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly. She wants a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Somebody bring that girl a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's what they call a sandwich, right?
Tasty cakes.
What they call it? And some tasty cakes? Nice.
The tasty cakes, yes.
Well, you want crimpets?
I found tasty cakes at the gas station the other day, and I got real excited. I said, I'm getting closer.
So let me ask you something. Are you a crimpet girl, or?
Well, yes, I did have butterscotch crimpets the other night, but today I relaxed a little with a chocolate junior.
Not chocolate.
And then possibly maybe tomorrow I might treat myself to some peanut butter candy cake.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of diabetes.
Speaking of diabetes. Listen, what we're going to do right now is we're going to all take a tasty break with Tasty Cake. We're going to have to go out to commercial. Sandra, we want to thank you for coming back on the show with us. We haven't had you on since, of course, before you left for the walk. Glad that you're walking, and I'm glad that, hey, listen, by the way, how much weight have you lost?
I have lost 17 and a half pounds.
Nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It is nice. I feel pretty good. I feel lighter, much lighter, and I'm looking forward to losing a few more pounds and then actually.
You won't if you're eating Tasty Cakes at night.
Just taking the shopping when I get to Philly.
You're not going to if you're eating those Tasty Cakes.
Well, you know, I'm walking, so you know it's coming off. I think I've upped my metabolism quite a bit out here.
Good stuff. That's what I keep telling myself, too. Listen, I'm going to go home, I'm going to eat a Tasty Cake, and I'm going to think of you. We're going to go out to a break, and when we come back, we're going to have more Laura Batts, and we're going to speak with Danny. Danny's pretty insane. Once you find out how insane he is, you might even want to call him or something. Listen, we'll be back right after this message.
Not a cloud in the sky. I know it's gonna rain. Not a cloud in the sky. I know it's gonna rain. Got that same old feeling. It comes up. Not a cloud in the sky. I know it's gonna rain. Not a cloud in the sky. I know it's gonna rain. Got the same old feeling. Here comes the pain. Driving along, it's hard to drive. She looked away when the sad song made her cry. What do you do at the end of it all? You just brace yourself and you're ready for the fall. Not a cloud.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Angel Side by Side. Angel Side by Side can be heard Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on WNN Radio, 1470 AM, and worldwide at rockersinrecovery.com, as well as Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Laura Beth with Hyperbaric RX, and you can visit us online at hyperbaricsrx.com. We offer everything hyperbaric, so whether it's a custom oxygen system, an oxygen concentrator, a portable hyperbaric chamber, a custom clinic system for a doctor's office or a hospital. If it's hyperbaric, we can provide the consulting, the equipment, the training, the certification, everything that you need to go along with it. You should definitely check out our website again, and that's www.hyperbaricsrx.com, and you can contact us at 877-589-9998. Again, that toll-free number is 877-589-9998, and look forward to answering your questions and helping you with your hyperbaric equipment, systems, training, and treatment needs. Thank you.
No Matter What Productions proudly present the 4th annual 12-Step Music Fest. Recovery rocks with 4 days of camping, music, meetings, speakers, fellowship, and fun all in one place. That's Sugarloaf KOA Campground, mile marker 20 in the Florida Keys. November 3rd through the 6th, 2011, of course. Tickets on sale now, 305-296-4726. We have a super group for you, too, all on one stage Saturday night. Ricky Byrd of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Woody Eastman of the Del Fuegos, Christine Ullman of Saturday Night Live, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, Casman Sultan of Todd Rundgren's group, Jeff Casey of Southside Johnny, Chris Anderson of Asbury Jukes Horns, Neil Pauly of Asbury Jukes Horns. More names to come. And Mike Zito, 2010 Billboard Music Awards Song of the Year, and Mark Levlin, main stage MC Friday night on Recovery Comedy Act. Be there.
It's the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web, Rockers in Recovery. Music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry, all backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery, featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com. Are you ready to explode your business? Then you are ready to take advantage of the massive marketing power of the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Advertise your business, product, or service with one of the most powerful multimedia platforms on the planet. With more than 300,000 online listeners, 30 social media outlets, and a booming 15 hours of live programming on South Florida's 50,000-watt mega giant, AM 1470 WNN. Your business will be exposed to hundreds of thousands of active, progressive consumers hungry for your products and services. You'll be featured on blogs, live streams, social media, at live events, and on hundreds of archived podcasts, including Rockers in Recovery, the East Coast music scene, Defending Your Money, and dozens more. Plus, prime-time national exposure during major festivals from Las Vegas to Boston and the Florida Keys. Get ready to take your business to the next level and jumpstart your branding strategy. Advertise your events, products, and services on the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Call now for special discounted packages. 877-799-8773. That's 877-799-8773. Or visit holisticlifestylesradio.com.
We had a straight shot in the sundown light on Highway 61 through the desert night. We shared the back room with card sharks and grifters, tank show abandoned and a little drifter.
Robbie Robinson, new CD, RobbieRobinson.com. Check him out. He's got some great stuff. The whole CD is unbelievable. And, of course, How to Become Clairvoyant is the name of the CD. And we ask you to check it out and be a part of his website and his Facebook page. We also ask you to follow Rockers in Recovery on Twitter. Rockers in Recovery Twitter. You can also follow us on Holistic Styles Twitter, and we're all over the map out there. I think at our last count we had like 9,000 tweets in the last year. We're up there. We're just tweeters. Hello, tweeter. So we have, of course, the 12-Step Music Fest coming up. I'm going to talk about this a couple of times tonight. Of course, No Matter What Productions and Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network and Rockers in Recovery and Coca-Cola and Monster, along with the Hyperbaric RX, of course, a company, Laura Betts, Right Turn Addiction Services, Miami Subs and Grill, are sponsoring, of course, the 12-Step Music Fest, along with many other sponsors. You can go to 12stepmusicfest.com to find out who the sponsors are. And you can speak with, of course, Dawn at the 12-Step Music Fest by calling Dawn at 305-296-4726 for her, of course, production of the 12-Step Music Fest, the fourth annual, for tickets that go on sale for November 3rd through the 6th, 2011. Make sure that you do that pretty rapidly because, of course, the campground, Sugarloaf KOA Campground in the Florida Keys at mile marker 20, is rapidly approaching, of course, sellouts. So you want to make sure that you are in there and you're buying your tickets now. Of course, 305-296-4726 is a way that you can do it. You can actually do it over the phone, or you can go to 12stepmusicfest.com and order your tickets there. We want to have you at the fest hanging out with us. We're going to be broadcasting live every night, and we'll be broadcasting live the full day right there at the fest. We'll be streaming the whole concert live back to the websites, and the bottom line is that we're going to have a boatload of fun and a whole lot of meetings while doing it. Now, one of the things that we started out, of course, the last part of the last segment of the last hour, we started talking about Hyperbarics RX and how Laura had just got done working with a lady up in St. Augustine that is a doctor that deals with, of course, podiatry, correct?
Yes, she's a doctor of podiatry medicine and specializes in wounds specifically as a complication of diabetes.
Now, diabetes as a whole, when you look at diabetes and you look at alcoholism and drug addiction, when you look at the population, because we were just talking about it. I mean, me and Laura talk about a lot of different things. We were just talking about the fact that, there's a lot of people, when you look at people that have borderline alcoholism that have been, they might not be full-blown alcoholics. You might be just somebody out there that, 30 years into your drinking, you decide you're not going to drink anymore, and you just stop drinking. But then you find out that you did damage.
Correct.
You don't have to be an alcoholic to be dealing with these type of wounds and this type of care. But it's more prevalent in somebody that is an alcoholic.
Absolutely. It's wounds in general, non-healing wounds, they are rampant. And when you start to, I see people all the time that have these, severe skin issues, this lesion, I'll say, oh yeah, this won't heal, and, they're putting some kind of over-the-counter thing on it. All of those things, when those start to happen, there's a reason why that wound isn't healing. The body there's something going on there, and a lot of times it's because of, the official term is, possibly some kind of ischemic reaction. That, put that into real words, lack of oxygen. The body needs oxygen to heal, is the term neovascularization, growth of new blood vessels, the production of collagen. The body needs oxygen to do that. So whenever these things are going on, it comes down to oxygen. So now we say, let's put it into a practical model, and to put into perspective the kind of wounds, these are wounds where they're getting ready to remove bone and amputate limbs because the wounds have reached a point where the tissue is completely dying or close to dying. And, that's the reason why they have to amputate it, because if the tissue necrotizes, then you essentially are dealing with infection.
So let me, and there's a couple of different things here that come out of what you were just talking about. First of all, if you have the same skin situation where you have lesions or anything like that, it rolls into a conversation that was being held in here earlier about somebody that might be suffering from the AIDS virus, HIV. It's the same thing. It can be utilized for just about, everything.
Well, yeah, for our body to heal, it needs oxygen to do that. The problem, you say, this issue comes up all the time. If Hyperbarics is so great, how come everybody isn't doing it? And it comes down to access. It's
not just access. It's also the community of medical professionals that are running around saying, that it doesn't work.
Dr. Rosanna Rodriguez is truthfully the exception to the rule. It is a privilege. I mean, I just spent 5 days in her office. It is a privilege to be there with someone who is actually interested in what's best for her patients. And you say, I'm going to the doctor, they're going to help me, right? Well, I can tell you from behind the scenes, there's a lot of doctors. I have had podiatrists who know that wound care works tell me off the record that, but I don't make any money if I don't do surgery. I got a yacht.
I got a payment I got to make.
And I'm appalled. Because, again, the issue with this, and, you say, why is somebody like Dr. Rosanna Rodriguez dedicating half of her entire facility to hyperbarics? Why is she doing that? Because she knows that from the time she starts cutting, she just took their life expectancy and cut it to about 3 to 5 years. So she really wants to do everything in her power to avoid that. And this is where hyperbarics can be, such a powerful tool.
HyperbaricsRx.com is the place you want to go and check out. And, of course, Laura's information is all there. And everything that you could ever imagine between sales of the equipment to training on the equipment to, of course, different places that you can find the equipment. I mean, she is a wealth of knowledge in this area. HyperbaricsRx.com, check them out. I also want to talk about something else that is very important as far as the modality is concerned. when you start to look at a newcomer coming in the room, now listen, when I came in, I rolled in under the 79th Street Bridge. I didn't have no cash flow. But understand something, 5% of the people that are getting sober today are of the variety of alcoholic or addict that I was, that was homeless and destitute. The other 95% of the folks that are out there that are suffering from addiction still have resources available to them, that they can go to treatment and they can do the things that they need to do to, of course, as you know, many 12-step organization literature will tell you that detoxification is required before someone can really get a handle on this. Let's think about this. When you use day after day after day after day after day for 30 years, do you think you've done some brain damage?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you've ever blacked out, if you've ever hit your head, if you've ever been injured from a fall, and let's talk about all of the things that the drugs themselves are doing. You know, somebody, we've talked about this on the show. Somebody who is, let's say, they're sniffing everything, something. They have all kinds of brain damage from just the absorption of those chemicals, and some of those things have a residual. So, we know, and this is clinically documented. This isn't a guess. This isn't a we think. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy heals the brain better than anything else, and it does it non-invasively.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because when you start to look at Dr. Paul Harch and all of the rest of the doctors, and even Kenneth Blum, it goes on and on and on. The guys that are out there saying right now that, listen, if you can take a brain that has been injured in a car accident and you can get it into a hyperbaric chamber within the first 24 hours.
Oh, yeah. I mean, proximity to injury is a big thing. If you can, the closer you get hyperbarics to the injury, it's amazing. In the case of a head injury, like a car accident, one of the things that causes all the damage is the swelling. So the body's trying to protect itself. The brain starts to swell. The brain actually starts to do more damage. There's studies going back to the 1990s, Holbach's Roxwold study of, shoot me an email. I'll email you the studies if you're interested in it. And they documented that hyperbarics used in close proximity reduces the mortality rate by 59%. That's not a typo, 59%.
So let's bring it back to what I was talking about. Now, you're in a major head-on collision. If you can, in the time period that you're talking about, 59% of the people that got there lived.
Correct. That's what the study proves. Yep.
Okay, so now let's talk about addiction that is going to do the same traumatic trauma, the drugs, the alcohol, the mishaps, the falling down, the hitting our heads, the blackouts, all of those same things are taking place.
Yep.
So when you start to look at those things, you're looking at a person that has the same traumatic brain injuries that somebody would be in a car accident with.
Yeah, absolutely. Oxygen deprivation of any kind causes brain damage. And the issue for someone in addiction is they have repeatedly been exposing themselves. You talk about chronic carbon monoxide poisoning, somebody that's been, in an environment where they're breathing CO. We acknowledge that they have brain injury there, but now we're going to take somebody who's smoking anything and everything, which also has carbon monoxide in it. It's a product of combustion, and a whole bunch of other stuff. They have a brain injury. So when you come to recovery, and now, that whole it's going to get worse before it gets better. I hear this all the time. I feel worse than when I was using. I quit smoking. I've never felt worse in my life. A lot of that is the body restarting itself, and hyperbarics has been clinically documented to help the body heal.
So when you're healing the brain, see, because we tend to forget that this is about the whole. This isn't just about, listen, I lost my little red wagon at 3 years old.
Correct.
My dog died at 2. Those things are traumatic experiences, and we have to deal with those. And, I'm being kind of sarcastic in a way, but I'm not, because there's much more to it. If you're not dealing with all of the different issues, then you're, and they tell you mind, body, and spirit is what our approach is. So
it's really hard to work the 12 steps if you're literally cognitively impaired because you're dealing with a brain injury. It's really hard to have normal reactions to life situations and deal with it in an appropriate way if you're battling an overwhelming need to use that is a physical need. We know, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. It's not, you're just weak if you were mentally stronger. No, it's a real physiological manifestation. There are things happening inside your body that are bigger than our willpower. When you're in pain, you're in pain. And mind over matter, but no, you're in pain, you're hurt. So, this is something, we have research coming out of Russia from 20 years ago that demonstrates hyperbarics is an effective tool because how it balances the brain chemistry and how it heals the brain.
Dopamine and serotonin and all that.
Serotonin, it regulates dopamine, it regulates serotonin, and now you throw in the fact that it is also going to activate the leukocytes. So it's going to boost the immune system. Someone coming to recovery, they're not in the best shape, and now they're sick and they feel awful because their body is compromised. So while we're healing the brain, we're naturally boosting the immune system in a non-invasive way. That's a great thing. We are killing anaerobic bacteria. So, you're dealing with lots of different things. Anaerobic bacteria cannot live in an elevated oxygen environment. And here's an interesting piece of information, too. Viruses cannot live in an elevated oxygen environment. Now, hyperbarics is not a cure for many types of viruses. However, when you combine the improvement of the leukocytes, the activation of the white blood cells, with the fact that viruses cannot live in an elevated oxygen environment, there's another benefit. There's another secondary balance to this therapy that we're doing. And the greatest thing about this is it's non-invasive. You lay there, you breathe. If you can equalize the pressure in your ears and your lungs are relatively healthy, and I do mean relatively healthy, then you are capable of doing hyperbarics. There are no long-term side effects. It doesn't have 15 pages, of all the stuff that goes along with it. So you mean I lay there and breathe and all this happens to me? Yeah, it's an amazing thing.
You got to breathe, baby.
Yeah, we got to breathe.
So listen, here's the deal. If you like what you've heard tonight and you want to find out more information about how this can help you, what you can do is go to Hyperbarics RX. You can go at the .com site, and you can check out hyperbaricsrx.com. Laura's there, all of her information, different case studies, all kinds of stuff there. Great blog. Follow her on Twitter, follow her on Facebook. She's everywhere. And, of course, you can find her right at holisticlifestylesradio.com and rockersinrecovery.com, too. She is one of the sponsors of the 12-Step Music Fest. We want to thank you for being on the show tonight and being a part of Rockers in Recovery. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to get a short testimonial, short story from Danny Kaye, who's of course, with us tonight. And Danny's going to tell a little bit of his story. And guess what, folks? If you're out there tonight, you're hurting, you don't know where to go or what to do, guess what? There is help. 877-799-8773 is the phone number you want to call. And, of course, there will be people there to be able to answer the phone call and, most importantly, get you the help that you need. If you are in the county jail system and you need a place to go, 954-826-4920 is the phone number you want to call. And it's 954-826-4920, and we will help you get a place to go so that way you don't have to go to the streets when you get out. And remember, if you're calling me for a three-way or commissary, you're calling the wrong guy. We'll be back right after this message.
It's the hottest new addiction recovery mega community on the web, Rockers in Recovery. Music, news, interviews, events, and festivals with an insider's angle to the rock and roll industry, all backed up by artists who are in recovery and support recovery, featuring dozens of rock legends like former Joan Jett and the Blackhearts lead guitarist Ricky Byrd, Richie Supa of Aerosmith, and tons more. It's a worldwide music and media festival at your fingertips. Get inside the rock and roll recovery scene with a click of your mouse. Click rockersinrecovery.com. That's rockersinrecovery.com.
Hi, this is Laura Betts with Hyperbaric RX, and you can visit us online at hyperbaricsrx.com. We offer everything hyperbaric, so whether it's a custom oxygen system, an oxygen concentrator, a portable hyperbaric chamber, a custom clinic system for a doctor's office or a hospital. If it's hyperbaric, we can provide the consulting, the equipment, the training, the certification, everything that you need to go along with it. You should definitely check out our website again, and that's www.hyperbaricsrx.com, and you can contact us at 877-589-9998. Again, that toll-free number is 877-589-9998, and look forward to answering your questions and helping you with your hyperbaric equipment, systems, training, and treatment needs. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Angel Side by Side. Angel Side by Side can be heard Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on WNN Radio, 1470 AM, and worldwide at rockersinrecovery.com, as well as Wild Talk Radio.
Are you ready to explode your business? Then you are ready to take advantage of the massive marketing power of the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Advertise your business, product, or service with one of the most powerful multimedia platforms on the planet. With more than 300,000 online listeners, 30 social media outlets, and a booming 15 hours of live programming on South Florida's 50,000-watt mega giant, AM 1470 WNN. Your business will be exposed to hundreds of thousands of active, progressive consumers hungry for your products and services. You'll be featured on blogs, live streams, social media, at live events, and on hundreds of archived podcasts, including Rockers in Recovery, the East Coast music scene, Defending Your Money, and dozens more. Plus, prime-time national exposure during major festivals from Las Vegas to Boston and the Florida Keys. Get ready to take your business to the next level and jumpstart your branding strategy. Advertise your events, products, and services on the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. Call now for special discounted packages, 877-799-8773. That's 877-799-8773. Or visit HolisticLifestylesRadio.com.
No Matter What Productions proudly present the 4th annual 12-Step Music Fest. Recovery rocks with 4 days of camping, music, meetings, speakers, fellowship, and fun all in one place. That's Sugarloaf KOA Campground, mile marker 20 in the Florida Keys. November 3rd through the 6th, 2011, of course. Tickets on sale now, 305-296-4726. We have a super group for you, too, all on one stage Saturday night. Ricky Byrd of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Woody Eastman of the Del Fuegos, Christine Ullman of Saturday Night Live, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, Casman Sultan of Todd Rundgren's group, Jeff Casey of Southside Johnny, Chris Anderson of Asbury Jukes Horns, Neil Pauly of Asbury Jukes Horns. More names to come. And Mike Zito, 2010 Billboard Music Awards Song of the Year, and Mark Levlin, main stage MC Friday night on Recovery Comedy Act. Be there.
Welcome back, of course, John Hollis for Rockers in Recovery. We want to thank Laura Betts for being on with us tonight. We want to thank Sandra for calling in from the road, from Sandra's Walk for Recovery. We want to thank George from the Chillbillies. Man, this has just been like one of those nights. Of course, Rockers in Recovery is all about carrying a message of hope. And how do we do that? Of course, we do it 18 hours a week on the radio show here in the Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. And, of course, it's dedicated to music, news, interviews, events, festivals taking place in the world of rock and roll. And, of course, we welcome folks who like rocking out in recovery, along with bands and musicians who are in recovery or support recovery. Live from WNN 1470 AM radio studios, 18 hours a week. And we're also now live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rockersinrecovery.com, and the rockersinrecovery.com website has a Listen Live button. You click on that, and that brings you to our online radio station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Rockers in Recovery music, interviews, and lots of information dedicated to helping people that have issues with addiction. We have a good friend of mine that I have had the opportunity to be around for the last couple of years and watched him for the last couple of years carry himself back into a recovery position. And that means that if you have ever experienced relapse before, it happens. And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just stay out there and let your ego and let your pride keep you from walking back in the door? Or do you dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and come back in and do what you need to do? Get back involved with a sponsor, a group, and the steps. And, you know, one of the things that we tend to think from time to time, and I don't know about anybody else, but, you know, I'm a rocket scientist, so when I go through something like that, by the grace of God, in the last 5 years, I haven't found it necessary to pick up a drink or a drug. But prior to that, I was in and out for many, many years. And I would think to myself when I came back, well, I don't have to do that. I already did that once. I don't need to do that. I started to do the pick and choose and the smorgasbord of the 12-step organizations. Now, we do not talk about specific 12-step organizations, and I don't talk about what fellowship I belong to because of traditions. But tonight we're going to talk to Danny Kaye, and Danny Kaye is going to tell us a little bit about what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And he's going to do that without, of course, breaking his anonymity and what recovery fellowship he belongs to. So, Danny, give us a little bit about you and where you came from and whatever, what happened and what was the final turnaround and what 12-step, the 12-step organizations, did for you when you finally made the decision.
All right, thank you, John. I appreciate you letting me come here. I got sober when I was 26 years old, and I had just had 2 children and was pretty bottomed out. I got sober at the VA hospital in East Orange. You have to really bottom me out in places like Graymoor, New York, and some rough places seeking on my journey to recovery. And years later, I think John said I did relapse. And, after having a lot of years clean and sober, it's really, they talk about the first one being a gift. And you know what, with a whole lot of knowledge of the 12-step program and a lot of experience with the program, and all my peers with a lot of years and all, trying to get back into all right, I relapsed, now I'm just going to go to detox, and I know what to do. I got good people around me. It should be relatively easy. Well, that wasn't my story. It was really one of the hardest things I ever did, a lot harder than the first time. And, it seemed like when I relapsed, the tape has changed. Everything I knew in my head was still in my head, but it wasn't in my heart. And I really had to try for about 1.5 years to come back, and constantly relapsing again. I just threw my hands up, and I had to go far away. We talk about we can't get better with family. Well, the people in South Florida that I've been down here with since 2004 became that's what the family they say. That's my peers in recovery. I had to go where I wasn't known. I went out to the West Coast, to California, and I just started basic from day one, dummied up. They talk about keep it simple, stupid, all the back things we've heard over the years the slogans that they don't mean much to us anymore. But that's what I did. I went out there, dummied up like Joe Blow off the streets, and started from back to basics and stayed out there. And I took a suggestion out there. I stayed in a halfway house, and I had to put myself on the other side of the fence. And what would I suggest to somebody trying to get sober? and I would tell them to go into a sober living environment. So I took my own advice and other people's advice to stay out there, get a little foundation out there, and I came back and just took it real slow, and it's been a slow journey back. But over the years, I worked in the field of addiction treatment and helping others, and and God's blessed me already. Now it's got a little over 2 years, and I'm back helping people. What my passion is, and it's real good. I'm just keeping it simple, and like a lot of people say, keep it on the basics. Don't ever get off the basics. And but I treasure this thing a whole lot more. I took it for granted raising my kids in recovery, and you just take it. You think that's the way it is until John mentioned before, when we get older in recovery, there comes times where pain meds are happening, our bodies are breaking down, and things like that are happening. Life throws you curveballs. You know what? Then the beast gets trickier and it gets wilder. So got to walk a straighter and narrower path. And they always said that, and I never understood that, and now I do. And I'm real grateful to be back.
I was talking with somebody this past week that we were discussing the fact that normal people, when you walk up to a normal person that doesn't have the disease of addiction and you say to them, I haven't drank in 5 years, I haven't drugged in 5 years, they're like, well, yeah, congratulations, I guess, because they don't understand that for us to drink or to drug is to die. They don't get that, okay? They might understand it to a certain degree, but they don't get it. You know what I mean? When you go through what you went through, or you go through, numerous attempts and numerous failures, and you're on the brink of death, you can understand that. So if you're listening tonight and you just heard what Danny was talking about, understand that it doesn't matter where you're at in the process. And I'm going to tell you what was told to me. Keep coming back no matter what. No matter what, keep coming back. Because here's the reality, folks. God is in the equation. And your recovery is between you and your higher power. And if you don't have one, you might want to get one. Because I can tell you this, that when I walked around saying, I'm an atheist, and I'm this, and I'm that, it was all cop-out for me. And I'm just talking for me. It was all cop-out. I used to sit in the jails, and I would say, oh, look at them guys going to AA meetings. What's that going to do? What, are they going down for a cigarette and coffee? I said all of that garbage, and something, the real fact of the matter is deep down inside of every man, woman, or child is the fundamental belief of God. The fundamental belief that says, hey, listen, if I don't plug into something, I'm going to fall for anything. So if I plug into something, it doesn't matter. It could be God, it could be the universe, it could be whatever you want it to be. For me, it was God. And I plugged into that, and I got to tell you that over the acid test, because there's going to be a day, there's going to be a time, it's going to come, and the test is going to be there. And you're going to find out just where you're at. And that's why we have a spiritual program based on the maintenance of our day-to-day activity. I don't just put down a drink or a drug and poof, it's all done. The AA ferry did not, or the 12-step ferry did not just sprinkle dust on somebody's head and they stayed clean. That's not how it works. What happens is a person has to go through the process and get plugged in and work that and maintain that every day after going through the 12-step program. And you start to work those 12 steps in your life. I want you to understand that we all have a shot. It doesn't matter. And when I said it's between you and your higher power, one of the things that was told to me, and I truly believe that is anything that I'm planning on doing with my recovery today, if God is not in the equation, then I probably should take a look at what I'm doing. Because when the acid test comes, and we're going to talk about the acid test right now, when you drink or you drug and you've been in recovery, what happens is you tend to stop, you alienate, it's like taking a light switch and turning it from on to off. You're completely outside the circle of life. You have completely turned yourself off from any belief in God, and you've turned on the resentments, you've turned on the anger. Everything comes rushing back in. Everything. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years out from it or 20 years out from it or 10 minutes out from it. When you do that first hit, do that first drink, it's like taking a light switch, having a spiritual life, to off, and you being totally disconnected from everything and everybody, and most importantly, yourself, because now you're back into that abyss of misery, that abyss of hate, that abyss of anger. All of those things come rushing back in, and guess what, folks? It doesn't happen like over a time period. It happens right then. So the acid test. When things in your life that you would not normally handle without picking up a drink or a drug happens and you don't use over them, in my opinion, that's the acid test. And that could be 10 times a day. So plug in. Thanks for listening tonight. I want to thank everybody that was on the show tonight. I'm John Hollis. I'm the host of Rockers in Recovery. You can find me by going to rockersinrecovery.com. You can contact me by sending emails to john@rockersinrecovery.com. If you think you have a topic, you think you want to, just put something out there for the universe, send it out, john@rockersinrecovery.com. I want to thank Chris West behind the glass. I want to thank, of course, Laura Betts. I want to thank the Chillbillies. I want to thank, of course, Danny Kaye for coming in, and, of course, Sandra's Walk for Recovery.
Sandra, we already thanked Laura.
Yeah,
the lovely Laura Betts from Hyperbaric RX.
I like Laura.
And now she's a sexy redhead.
That's right. I didn't even realize that.
I didn't notice it at first either, and then I'm recording that promo that we've been playing today, and I'm just like, man, you are one sexy redhead today.
You told her that?
Oh, absolutely.
That's my first way.
It's like I'm never going to hold back.
Nice. So tell me about the sci-fi show that's coming up. Part of course, the Rockers in Recovery Network is that sci-fi show on Friday nights at 10 o'clock. Tell us about it.
That's right. We just had actress Jodie Thompson on this week. Did a great segment with her, and we just, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous actress. Great personality. It was an awesome interview we did with her. We're getting ready to go to Dragon Con coming up the first week of September. We got our hotels booked, our flights booked. So we'll be up there. We got a lot of great things going on. We actually got
it's in Atlanta, right?
The Hard Rock that's going to be hosted by Brian and myself of that sci-fi show. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be up there having a good time, showing everybody.
That's in Atlanta?
Really party, rocker style.
That's in Atlanta?
This is up in Atlanta. It's 5 days, downtown Atlanta. DragonCon.org is the website if you guys are interested in checking it out. And you can always find the link on thatscifishow.com. where we all the goodness of That Sci-Fi Show can be found, right on thatscifishow.com.
Nice stuff. We're out tonight, folks. I'm John Hollis, Rockers in Recovery. I want to thank you for listening. Again, have a safe day tomorrow and every day after that, one day at a time.
Not feel the pain.
No Matter What Productions proudly present the 4th annual 12-Step Music Fest. Recovery rocks with 4 days of camping, music, meetings, speakers, fellowship, and fun all in one place. That's Sugarloaf KOA Campground, mile marker 20 in the Florida Keys. November 3rd through the 6th, 2011, of course. Tickets on sale now, 305-296-4726. We have a super group for you, too, all on one stage Saturday night. Ricky Byrd of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Woody Eastman of the Delph Wagos, Christine Ullman of Saturday Night Live, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, Casman Sultan of Todd Rundgren's group, Jeff Casey of Southside Johnny, Chris Anderson of Asbury Jukes Horns, Neil Pauly of Asbury Jukes Horns. More days to come. And Mike Vito, 2010 Billboard Music Awards Song of the Year, and Mark Levlin, main stage MC Friday night on Recovery Comedy Act. Be there.
Hi, this is Laura Betts with Hyperbaric RX, And you can visit us online at hyperbaricsrx.com. We offer everything hyperbaric. So whether it's a custom oxygen system, an oxygen concentrator, a portable hyperbaric chamber, a custom clinic system for a doctor's office or a hospital. If it's hyperbaric, we can provide the consulting, the equipment, the training, the certification, everything that you need to go along with it. You should definitely check out our website again, and that's www.hyperbaricsrx.com. And you can contact us at 877-589-9998. Again, that toll-free number is 877-589-9998, and look forward to answering your questions and helping you with your hyperbaric equipment, systems, training, and treatment needs. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Angel Side by Side. Angel Side by Side can be heard Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on WNN Radio, 1470 AM, and worldwide at rockersinrecovery.com, as well as Blog Talk Radio.
Here's hoping you're healthy and wealthy. South Florida's Health and Wealth Radio Network, AM 1470, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. This is All Points Bulletin with Broward Sheriff Al Lamberti, brought to you by the Broward Sheriff's Office, the largest fully accredited sheriff's office in the United States, with over 5,800 employees. If you have questions about the program, please call 954-831-8900. That's 954-831-8900. Or go online to www.sheriff.org. And now, today's program.
Well, hello, South Florida. Welcome to All Points Bulletin with Sheriff Al Lamberti. I'm your host, Sheriff Al Lamberti, from the Broward County Sheriff's Office, the largest fully accredited sheriff's office in America. Thank you for taking the time to spend an hour of your day with us. We appreciate the opportunity to come into your place, whether it's in your car, in your home, or wherever you may be listening. We're glad to be sharing a part of your day with us, and we greatly appreciate it. You know, where we're trying to help you stay safe in your community. That's the whole purpose of the show. As we've said, help us help keep you safer. And with me today, as usual, co-host Commander Mike Caldron from Broward County Crime Stoppers. Mike, welcome aboard to another show here.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Pretty busy week. We started the week out with that huge incident there at the check cashing store, which we're going to talk about. Very, very tragic story here in Broward County, and we'll talk about that. And hard to believe, but the 4th anniversary of the murder of Sergeant Chris Rica in Pompano Beach. It's hard to believe it's 4 years already.
It is.
And then this week we'll talk about that a little bit. We had a little prayer vigil up at the spot at the Walgreens in Pompano Beach on Powerline Road, just south of Atlantic, at 1:22 a.m., the time that he was killed. And we had a gathering there of all the deputies in Pompano Beach just to kind of say a little prayer. Chaplain Braswell was up there with us and had a little prayer vigil at exactly 1:22.
And I understand a very moving event.
It was kind of neat to get everybody. You know, there's a memorial there that was constructed by Walgreens, and to pay tribute to Chris. And people ask me, well, obviously, what's the status of the case? And I tell them, I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. We've got some great leads, got a lot of great work every day. We work on the case, and I know, sooner or later, we're going to charge somebody, and that's what I tell people. Well, we just haven't charged anybody yet. That doesn't mean, we're not on top of it. And we talk to Kim regularly, so I feel pretty good about the way the case is going.
Absolutely, and the community remains vigilant, and we still get tips coming in.
Right, and the reward?
Up to $267,000.
$250,000 out there for someone to come forward. And again, I know someone somewhere knows something about who killed Chris Rica. And if you do, please call us at Crime Stoppers, 954-493-TIPS. I talk about closure for the family, but as I've always said, closure, I think it's overrated. It's more about justice. There's a killer out there that needs to be brought to justice. And once you have justice, closure for the family will come, but, justice comes first.
Right, absolutely.
Great. And as usual with us, Sergeant Abby Tiger from the BSO Fugitive Squad with You're On Our List. First, Abby, welcome back. Appreciate it. Welcome back from vacation.
Thank you, sir.
John was here last week. It was great, and he filled in for you. And So for this week.
All right. The first one is Fritz Alismek.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.